All right. Hello, everybody.
Okay, yeah.
It's great to have
Howdy.
another guest here. So my name is Andrew from the Yonko LLC.
And I'm Brandon Gore from the Yonko LLC.
Now, before we start, the last podcast, I did make a point of showing off my ponytail,
Hmm.
and let's take a look now.
Oh, you look like a grown
The
up again.
ponytail.
Yeah, and in fact,
Oh wow.
Oh dang.
Oh wow. You
Just
changed the whole game up.
I went
Yeah.
all out. I went all out. Yeah,
Mowed the lawn,
Yeah.
absolutely.
as it were.
You mow the lawn and you look like you mow lawns now. Like you're
Yeah.
like it looks like you're a
Right.
man who takes care of his lawn and he's very proud of it.
Just own a landscaping business.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna
That's
tell you
gonna be my next career. Yeah.
I'm gonna bring this up real quick just as a secret project I'm working on.
Mhm.
I bought a pair of really cheap Air Force Ones and then I taped them out in specific patterns and I've started to mow my lawn while wearing them.
Nice.
So hopefully I'm going to have Lawn Force Ones. That's my goal, is to have lawn shoes that are Air Force Ones.
I'm gonna have to show you a picture of my lawn mowing shoes. They are full of duct tape, full of holes.
Oh,
I'm just keeping them as long as I can. So,
yeah, well you are a dad, so you can keep that dad vibe.
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, that's spectacular. I'm glad that you've got the pandemic haircut.
Yeah, it is the first haircut since the pandemic. So
Yeah. Yeah, we all knew. We all could tell.
yeah.
But while your haircut is super sick, a man who does not get his haircut very often is here.
Yeah.
And we're
It's
very
still
happy
drying.
we're very happy to have our second guest on the podcast. So Teddy, this is actually the first time that I'm meeting you.
Yeah. We've heard tell of each other through the
Absolutely. Yeah.
the pipeline. I've listened to your and Brandon's projects. I don't know if Brandon's showing you any might, but
Yeah,
it's nice to finally see the face.
Absolutely, yeah, and I want to thank you for being a part of actually the Zodiac 2, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
The yeah, which by the way
should
be released. Fingers crossed in a couple weeks. So
Yeah, fingers crossed.
So-
And also, Teddy is doing the cover for our sampler, which is coming out in a couple weeks, hopefully
Yeah.
too. That might be a little bit
Yeah.
longer, but we have another
Wrapping
one.
up some last details on
yeah,
that, but
looking forward to that. Absolutely.
overall feels good.
So,
well, let me
Teddy,
get the timer started.
yeah, are you ready? We're gonna start this time. We're gonna ask the first question. Let me get my timer going.
All right.
We did small talk. Teddy, is there anything you want to pitch about yourself at the beginning, other than you draw things?
Yeah,
And that
I
you
draw
do
things. I do. I'm doing a presentational series called. Should I plug this up top? Or-
Yeah, plug it twice. Why not?
Yeah, I'm doing a presentational series called Teddy's 101, where I draw something theoretically for a month straight. I mean, the rules have become fudged, with every incarnation, but and yeah, I perform it live, typically at Fergie's and anywhere else where I can convince somebody to let me do it.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready to start this clock?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
So, Teddy, how do you try to stay creative in a world that wants you to be distracted?
I've set timers on all my on every single one of my social media apps, which has generally been effective, except for Twitter. Twitter calls, and boy, can I! It's good that I only do it for 30 minutes. Sorry, I just realized my laptop is low on battery, so I'm gonna grab my charger quick.
Oh yeah, that's an incredibly Yonko moment, and we love that.
Yes.
It's
Absolutely.
just we're gonna start talking that everything has to shift and change because things that should work don't work quite as well as we
Yeah.
want them to, but only kind of sorta. So where did you get the idea to put timers on stuff? And how much how often does it work, and how much time do you give yourself?
I give myself 30 on each of the ones that I guess I would frequent the most, which is Instagram, Twitter, and I've recently had forced myself to try and figure TikTok out of survival, I guess. But yeah, only 30 minutes, and generally, I don't know. I fortunately did not curate TikTok at all when I signed up for it, so it's kind of junk anyways, and I don't really care to watch it. It's actually
Yeah.
a nightmare on TikTok. What it does to you when you, as a, what I'm assuming it assumes I am, which is a cishet white man, American male. Boy, is that
Yeah, it's
boy, is that terrifying.
we've had some conversations about TikTok on the podcast before, and I feel like we're kind of all in agreement of what it is. But I'm also curious about you said that Twitter is especially distracting. Like, what do you think it is about Twitter?
I don't know. I guess it's like it can be fun.
Mhm.
Is the problem?
Like,
Like it's more fun to me than any of the than either of the other two. Like Instagram, just kind of I feel like is just really beaten down any true creative intention in it to a point where you're just like, all right, I guess I'll post it on this old thing, but it's gonna absolutely bury it every time.
Yeah. The fall of Instagram, I was thinking about this, like it stings. Like it used to be, I mean, even if it like I always feel like I wish we could go back to taking pictures of our food. I think we were all like, everyone's taking pictures of their food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now it's like, yeah, I kind of wish it was just that.
Yeah.
Still.
Do you want to line up some wooden shoes from smallest to biggest and take a picture of that? Because that's
Yeah.
better than whatever half meme, same audio used every day over and over again.
Well, yeah. Well, that's I guess that's the other, like Instagram's just become the like gutter of TikTok in a weird way. Like that since they added reels, it's just like I already kind of knew the vibe of TikTok just because of the like the all the trickle down that happened through the reels, and I was just like, all right. But now I'm like, I should probably post something on TikTok because it's how the kids are getting viral. And I made a thing that probably could function okay on it.
so what kind of, like, as an artist, what kind of material are you interested in posting on TikTok?
So yeah, the presentations, Teddy's 101.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Specifically, I I think it could benefit. I mean, I'm forever irritated by the constraints of the formatting, but I mean, I think it could be doable. I don't know because it has a video element, and I just like currently. I mean, upon Goran's suggestion, I was like, I'd do like a me at a desk and then have the slides up top because it's done in like a PowerPoint presentation. But Goran was like, just do voice, just do slides and voice, and it'll be fine. And so I'll get around to that eventually when I give myself the time. I've put myself. That's the yeah. It's like I've already put myself on such a relentless, I guess, deadline with that project, or like I guess pseudo deadlines because I kind of break them constantly now. That I'm just gonna have to like I think once I finish the sixth one, I'll probably just give myself time to like culminate them into more thought out edited together videos where I can do multiple takes and I'm not beholden to the various inconsistencies of live performance, even though I do like those, but I'd like I guess a more stable like foundational rendering of the thing. But yeah, and it's like, well, TikTok's there, people like it. If I put the right hashtags on it, maybe I'll get more eyes on it, I guess.
Perhaps the algorithm will smile upon you.
Yeah, perhaps I'll be blessed by the machine.
Well, you're mentioning a lot of things that I feel like I've thought about and like said to other people as well, and including Brandon on this podcast, like with Facebook, I meet people every now and then. I say, oh, you're in Facebook or whatever, and they're like, no, I'm not, and I'm like, when they say that, I'm so jealous because like the only reason that I feel like I have to be on Facebook is like to promote music and to promote the art and stuff like that. If it wasn't for that, I would be totally fine not being on it. And I feel like it's a weird place to be, like to feel like you have to be on a social media platform because of that.
Yeah, I mean it stinks too because like a lot of it's fun, a lot. So I like a lot of like alternative cartoonists who like kind of do, they do their comics work, but then a lot of them have to like well, I mean, funny enough, the comics work is more moonlighting compared to their like actual illustration work, which usually pays the bills better than the books.
Mhm.
But a lot of them have just been like, they have enough of it, they'll have like 40 to 50K followers, and they're just like, yeah, that's enough. They're like, I have a day job, I have a following, they'll buy my books. You'll buy my books when they come out. And the promotional aspect is not as valuable as my sanity. And so they just like, I've been seeing a lot of them just quietly back out of social media.
Yeah.
Usually opting for, or like seeming to opt for, or desire to like just pivot people to their website, or like a mailing, or like a newsletter format. I've even seen some of them become more active on Tumblr again.
Really?
Whenever I pop back into that that desolate wasteland.
I mean,
Mhm.
that's
Just to
the
see
thing
what's
about
going
Tumblr
on.
is that the upside of Tumblr now might be the fact that it's a desolate wasteland that you can just be like, if you post in a desolate wasteland, it might get seen instead of buried under a billion algorithms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I was even looking at my stories, and I think they're even like tamping down story exposure now, because like I like reposted something that like a local Philadelphia comedian was making some joke, the typical joke of like finding an 70s or 80s musician that looks like me and being like, I didn't know Teddy made this sweet song or something. And I repost that, it's like 50, 60 views, and then I'm like, here's some art I made, it's like 20 views. I'm like, gee, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
It's funny
I've
that happened.
literally reposted another person, I guess. I mean, but maybe that's what it wants. It's hungry for the repost, it's not
Yeah.
hungry for the original content anymore.
It does not seem to be. I just feed it original content all the time, and it's
Yeah.
just like I don't.
It wants
And
face too. That's the that's the thing that scares me the most about Instagram. It demands face, or it will penalize you for it. If you don't post face, it's like you're gonna wallow with 10 to 20 likes. If you post face, then it's like, I'll give you 30, bud. Like, come on, man. I mean, the face will get like 50, but then everything after for like a month will get like way more exposure. And that like geeks me out, because I'm like, I remember back at like the old wives of like when photography first came around, people were like, it's going to take your soul, and now it's like, it kind of actually is now. It used to be just like paranoia, but or like just a like superstition. Now it's like actually a real thing that we have done to ourselves eventually. And so I'm like, I don't want to post face. I used to all the time when I used to take these dumb like pictures of me. I'd find like piles of trash that looked aesthetically pleasing. And I'd happen to be like wearing a shirt that I could coordinate with it. I'd just take a picture of that and put it on there. And that was, this was like a fun couple of years, but I just, I miss it, but I lack the desire or opportunity, I guess. I don't know. I guess I stopped finding the trash.
just trash isn't as, I mean, I think I'm willing to say it, just trash isn't as beautiful as it used to be. Like,
No,
it's gone downhill, just
Yeah.
like just like everything else.
I haven't seen just like a good maroon car door by the side of the road like I used to.
yeah, I think everything's gone to trash, even trash. I mean, that's just what it
trash is
is.
bad too.
So I have a question I've been wanting to talk about. So one of the things we don't have a lot of time, by the way, we have 4 minutes. But one of the things
Okay.
you use regularly is as an artistic expression is PowerPoint. And you're very proud of that. We've talked about that a couple times.
Yeah.
What is it like trying to make art with something that isn't necessarily built to make art out of? Because I think PowerPoint, I don't think they're thinking about it as an art piece, something to make art with, maybe present it, but you consider it, you push it further. So what pushes that, and what are the limitations of that, and how do you feel that makes you grow?
I mean, it is interesting that how it came together. using the PowerPoint, because like obviously, there've been people, I guess, for like a few years now, PowerPoints in comedy has been common, but typically it's just almost this exact same as like what a PowerPoint's used for in a boardroom, where it's just like put a slide up. And the best versions of it is it'll be like a slide where it's not just the words that they're also going to say. And then the worst versions of it is just them repeating the slide. And I don't know, I guess the second I started working with it, it kind of called back to the first time I used power. Like I remember, I went to this non-denominational church that loved getting people involved, and they were big on like trying to, if you were around a lot, which my parents volunteered a lot, they're like, well, we got to find something for you to do. So I remember a guy just sat me down at a computer and I was like, here's PowerPoint, play with it, see what happens, have some fun, bud. And I'd like, I grew up with a computer like in my house the whole time, so I didn't really need somebody to show me how to use a program. It was more just a matter of figuring out what was going on in it. So I just like went nuts. I was like just putting as many transitions on stuff as I could, just like figuring out like gradients and like how to, all the stuff. And then when I came back to it, I had made a PowerPoint in I don't know how long. And then I started doing it for these presentations, and it was immediately like, oh yeah, what do we got? How many transitions do we got? And it was just, I don't know, like, I guess it's the matter of just like not thinking of, or just thinking of it as like exploring it rather than like just using it as like a form of exploration rather than like a vehicle for communication. Like there's little things, I don't know, that I or little flourishes that I like find every time, like the fact that you can time a slide, or like, so like now that I'm integrating animation into it, it's like there are specific, and it's usually like me compiling a series of GIFs into slides, just like knowing that I can time things out if I want to, which I don't think people maybe necessarily think about, but it's there. Like, and it's just a weird medium to work in. But I find it kind of liberating in a weird, like the constraints of it, and that it's just like I have to funnel it into this like weird boardroom program. But the program, I mean, I'd like to think I handle it in. I mean, in my head, in my when I'm puffing myself, I'm like, this is virtuosic use of PowerPoint.
Yeah.
People are gonna look back on it and be like, wow, this guy knew a PowerPoint. This is a hell of a PowerPoint right here. I ain't seen one like it.
Well, and I really think that's cool because it's almost sort of like the idea of taking like found art, but in a technology sense.
Yeah.
And be like an object that is not meant to be art and turning it into art.
Yeah,
and I really like that idea, because you're doing it with a computer program as opposed to like, a car door. Yeah, exactly.
That Duchamp urinal came back into the old public
Exactly.
eye recently. But
And
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I guess I didn't even think about it like that or in that way, but I guess, yeah, kind of. I mean, I considered it kind of a funny, I guess, an appropriation of like corporate culture, a thing that I've never had the opportunity nor really sought out to participate in. And I guess I spent a lot of my life just generally being like, this dumb corporate culture. And now I'm like, I make presentations for fun.
And that is time.
Yeah. But this is a very, very cool talk. Is there anything that you want to plug before we go? Or, anything coming up?
I mean, I've got, most Sundays at Fergie's Pub in Philadelphia, down on Sansom. I do these PowerPoints live, and I will, and if I get a book, if I book it in a bigger venue, I will put it on my Instagram, which is at Teddy's_drawings, or at Teddy's 101. underscore drawings. There it is. And yeah, you know,
Do you
check
have some sort of
check it
comic
out.
book or website that you want to push?
Yeah, yeah, and I have a website, ejhansoниv.com, which does have a partial live recording of the presentations, courtesy of Goran recording it the last time I got to do more multiples.
Oh, that's not good because I did not do a good job recording that. I'm sorry.
It's fine. That's fine. It was fun.
It's very guerrilla.
Yeah, the caption, it gets the idea. It gets the idea across. And I'll always love that video because when I auto generated the closed captions on it, during the mustache presentation, when I got to the part where I said Friedrich Nietzsche, somebody was like talking or something, so it made the auto generate get messy, and it just said "Good Frederick." And just the idea of calling Friedrich Nietzsche "Good Frederick." Now I'm gonna make a character named Good Frederick someday. I want to know who he is.